police identify the victim of a fatal shooting in southeast Calgary.
This is Calgary's 14th homicide of the year.
The search for a man wanted in the targeted attack. Plus, a political shakeup on Parliament Hill.
Some may have just joined our party.
Another Conservative MP crosses the floor, leaving the Liberals just one seat shy of a majority. And hope over the holidays.
It's so important for us to create an environment where they can celebrate.
A shelter spreading joy to families fleeing violence.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Terry Fikowski.
Good evening. Calgary police have identified the victim of yesterday's fatal shooting in Ogden and believe the shooting is connected to organized crime. Faisal Osman Abdul Aziz has been identified as Calgary's 14th homicide victim of the year, and CTV has learned the 32-year-old is well known to police. Abdul Aziz was charged and later acquitted of second-degree murder in the deadly shooting of a 20-year-old man outside a hookah lounge in Calgary in 2020. In 2022, he was also charged part of an organized crime crackdown and convicted of gun-related offenses in 2023. Yesterday, he was found shot dead outside his vehicle around 12:30 in the morning in the 700 block of 20th Street Southeast. An hour later, police on the Satina Nation attempted to pull over a blue Nissan Sentra, but the driver took off. It stopped near Buffalo Run Boulevard and 4 men ran away. Police took 1 person into custody nearby and 2 others hours later in Calgary's Palliser neighborhood. Now they're still searching for a 4th man who fled over the Stony Trail pedestrian bridge and are asking anyone with video or may have talked to him to come forward.
He is described as having a dark complexion, wearing dark clothing and shoes. He may have approached members of the public around 1:20 a.m. seeking help or requesting a ride to another location.
A burned-out vehicle was found on the Satina Nation, and investigators are working to see if it is connected to the shooting. No charges have been laid at this point. 1 person has been released from police custody, while 2 others remain in custody, none of which are members of the Nation. Final arguments have begun in the trial of Richard Mantha, with the Crown and defense clashing over what they say unfolded during the alleged sexual assault of 7 women east of Calgary. 61-year-old Mantha pleaded not guilty to 20 charges and appeared by CCTV as the Crown argued the women's accounts are consistent, pointing to their similar descriptions of clutter inside Mantha's property and the vehicles they say he drove. Most of the alleged victims worked in the sex trade, and the Crown referenced testimony from several complainants who said they woke up impaired and partially undressed. Submitting the evidence points to a lack of consent. Now, the defense argues any sexual contact was consensual and says Mantha took reasonable steps to confirm that. They also questioned some complainants' drug use history, a point the Crown said does not undermine their accounts. The nearly 2-year-old trial has been delayed several times by lawyer changes, a language switch, and a stroke Mantha suffered last year. But a psychiatric assessment found him fit to continue. The company that employed a worker who was killed on the job site will not face criminal charges. It happened when a trench collapsed in 2023 in the community of Charleswood. Liam Johnston, an apprentice plumber, did not survive. The company, Mr. Mike's Plumbing, is charged with 11 offenses under Alberta's Occupational Health and Safety Act. The company has pleaded not guilty and is headed to trial next summer. But the Calgary Police Service tells CTV News there is not sufficient evidence to support criminal charges after consultation with Crown prosecutors. Johnson's family says they are deeply shocked and saddened criminal charges will not be laid against the company. In a statement, they say, "This is the most difficult news we've had to digest after learning that Liam was buried alive." To Parliament Hill now, where another Conservative MP is crossing the floor to join the federal Liberals, bringing Mark Carney's government just 1 seat shy of a majority.
So let's give a warm welcome to our newest member of the Liberal Party, Michael Maw.
Michael Maw says he made the decision after listening carefully to people in his Ontario riding of Markham-Unionsville in recent weeks. Last month, Nova Scotia MP Chris d'Entremont also left the Conservatives, the first to cross the floor since the federal election back in April. Now, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre reacted on X today, writing that the people Ma let down the most are the ones who elected him to fight for an affordable future. This all comes as Parliament sets off on its Christmas break. Meantime, the fall session of Alberta's legislature also wrapped up today. Well, the UCP government is celebrating the passing of more than a dozen pieces of legislation. Some other Albertans are denouncing the multiple uses of the notwithstanding clause and are planning to take action. With more, here's Alicia Fieldberg.
The legislative building looks festive and the fall session is wrapped.
We're proud of the work that we have done this sitting. The bills passed and the way that we have defended Albertans, protected children, and worked to improve health care and education in the province of Alberta.
The government passed 14 pieces of legislation, including a dual practice health model and limitations on courts and regulatory bodies.
Of those 14 bills that we had before the House, not one of them was about the economy. Not one of them was about cost of living. The ones that were about health care demonized a couple of dozen trans kids and privatized the system.
The UCP caucus says it provided a sleigh full of wins for families, health care, and the province's future.
What they've delivered is a huge lump of coal.
The UCP government also used the notwithstanding clause 4 times to shield 3 new laws about transgender people and to end a 3.5-week strike by forcing teachers back to work and to accept a deal they rejected.
What we would describe class in this province, we have to fight back.
What happened? MLA.
It's showing up in some of the public opinion polling, and I think a lot of questions are being raised about who Danielle Smith is really representing, and whether her commitment to democracy is as deep as she once claimed.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
A new poll suggests most Albertans want public funding for private schools scrapped. A recent Think HQ survey suggests there is strong appetite for a change to the funding formula and how public money is dispersed to fund it. With more, here's Tyson Fedor.
Should the province end allocating public dollars to private schools? A new survey question posed to more than 1,100 Albertans at the start of November came back with resounding results.
I saw this last month. It was right around the time of the teacher strike that they got this, and it didn't seem to get a lot of attention. So we thought, oh, well, this would be interesting.
59% of respondents said they would vote to end public funding for accredited private schools. Another 26% said no, while 15% were unsure. Among decided voters, support jumps to 69%.
If you actually put this on a ballot and the numbers come in at 70%, are you actually going to withdraw the funding and potentially see a whole host of independent schools across the province close?
A group called Alberta Funds Public Schools is trying to turn this funding question into a provincial referendum. They have until February to collect signatures for Elections Alberta and have it put to a vote.
Personally, I mean, I think it's just good to have people have options, I think.
Well, I'm in favor of private schools, and I'm kind of grew up that way, but I'm actually in favor of public schools.
The education budget is $9.9 billion this year. About $461 million is allocated to fund private schools. Around 48,000 Alberta K-12 students attend independent schools, and enrollment is increasing. Pollster Mark Henry says the issue is polarizing on both sides of the aisle.
People who voted NDP in the last election almost universally dislike this, the funding of students going to private schools with public money. Conservative voters are a bit more split.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
In response, the education minister says the varying opinions on how to best fund education are welcome and helpful. As for the poll results, the margin of error is plus or minus 2.9 percentage points 19 times out of 20. Danielle's here with her frigid forecast because it really is cold out there.
Yeah, so here's what's going to save us. If you're not a huge fan of the cold, keep in mind this is a 2-day thing, and then temperatures climb for the weekend. So much warmer and more reasonable for your weekend forecast, and less snowy. and better visibility and all those things. All right, so tomorrow at 8 a.m. when off to work and school, with the wind chill, it will feel like -30. And then by the afternoon, still feeling like -28 with the wind chill, and that's when the snow will intensify. That's why we're going to pick up some totals. Likely 3 to 6 centimeters is what we'll get in the city. But yes, we warm up for the weekend. We'll talk about that in just a little bit.
Okay, thanks, Danielle. And the cold weather is causing some problems. City crews are working to fix water main breaks, including this one in Beddington Heights. 40 homes were cut off today as workers dug down to replace the cracked pipes. Water wagons were also brought in so residents could fill up and haul water back to their homes. And a mix of ice, snow and sleet on highways near Brooks is prompting a warning from RCMP. Mounties say they're responding to a high volume of collisions and are asking people to avoid non-essential travel until things improve. As evacuation alerts grow in British Columbia, flood victims are getting a helping hand from the goalie of the Calgary Flames and Parachute for Pets. Dustin Wolf joined volunteers this afternoon to prepare emergency kits, dubbed Wolf Packs. Each package contains pet food and essential care items for animals during a crisis. Wolf first got involved with Parachute for Pets during the California wildfires. That's where he's from, and says it's powerful to see the difference the Wolf Packs can make.
This is something that's close to my heart with animals and helping them in times of need, and especially their owners.
People that hadn't been in that situation, would be like, I would never leave my pets. Not understanding that in those moments, people sometimes don't have a choice. It's, they have to maybe get their child or their pet.
Today's fundraiser also included an opportunity for people to get a photo of their pet with Wolf for the perfect holiday keepsake. For $25, they received a 5-minute photo session, with all proceeds going towards local Parachute for Pet programs supporting vulnerable people and their pets. Did I just see a turtle? Well, still ahead, dining and dashing, but in the energy industry. A new report reveals Alberta is passing the bill to clean up Orphan wells to the public. The response from the province is next.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
A new report warns Alberta has not properly confronted the massive environmental and financial liabilities left behind by energy development. The research shows the province faces as much as $300 billion in oil and gas cleanup liabilities due to orphaned and abandoned wells. Tim Brooke has more on who pays and who doesn't.
Just 9 years after this Two Hills resident welcomed energy development on his land, the site was sold to a new company and the lease payments stopped.
Why did the regulator allow thousands of inactive well sites to be transferred to a company like Sequoia? And it'd be out of business in 18 months.
Orphaned and abandoned wells have long been a major issue in the province. A new report looks at just how bad things have become. Analysis by research firm Redwater Insights looks into the impact of this unreclaimed infrastructure. It concludes the province has not done enough to keep companies on the hook for their own mess.
So the idea of saving for a rainy day, which we know is going to come, which is the plugging and abandonment of the wells, doesn't happen. So you've got to play catch up once you have a large number of mature wells.
The report says Canada's largest publicly traded energy companies are giving about $14 to their shareholders for every $1 they spend on well plugging and reclamation.
There's still capacity within industry to deal with this problem, and now is the best time to do it.
But the report predicts that won't happen. The authors instead believe Alberta's proposed cleanup strategy will soon make it even easier for companies to offload their aging wells and walk away, just like in Two Hills.
You restrict transfers of late in life wells, or at least police that to make sure that those aren't being transferred to companies that are just going to dine and dash, so to speak.
Without changes and with new development ambitions, landowners worry more issues are on the way.
Premier has talked about doubling our production. Well, does that mean double the mess suddenly?
Tim Brooke, CTV News, Calgary.
The Energy Ministry says the problem is decades in the making, but says the government is committed to addressing it. The ministry adds it continues to support a polluter pay principle and has increased the minimum spend for industry on reclamation. Alberta First Nation leaders are voicing their opposition to the pipeline agreement between the province and the federal government. The chief spoke in Ottawa, highlighting what they say was a lack of consultation with First Nations before Prime Minister Mark Carney and Premier Daniel Smith agreed to the MOU in November. Now, it sets out conditions for a new bitumen pipeline from Alberta to the BC coast, including language allowing Ottawa to adjust BC's tanker ban if necessary.
This is unacceptable. We expect Canada to ensure meaningful consultation takes place in Alberta, not after deals are signed, but before any decisions are made. We are asking Canada to stop turning a blind eye to how Alberta and industry operate in our territory. Ottawa must pay attention. Ottawa must insist on proper lawful consultation.
The Assembly has called for the pipeline agreement to be withdrawn. Alberta's Auditor General says better guidelines are needed to ensure high-quality health care is achieved in the province. A report found Alberta Health Services performance reporting is inconsistent and insufficient. Without fixes, Doug Wiley says no one will be held properly accountable to make sure the health system meets the standards Albertans pay for and deserve. He found the AHS business plan for 2023 wasn't published, and the plan for 2024 didn't come out until 300 days into the fiscal year.
And at the end of the day, you have to come back and demonstrate accountability to those that you're serving. And in healthcare, it's vitally important, I would suggest, to Albertans. This is something that Albertans rightly cherish. Healthcare is important to everyone, right?
The healthcare audit is one of 8 reports released Thursday by Wiley's office. Another looked into Alberta's flood mitigation systems, and the Auditor General says the Municipal Affairs Ministry denied releasing critical information about developing in flood hazard areas. Discovery House is preparing for a holiday dinner and gift giving for families living domestic violence. The shelter has bought personalized gifts for hundreds of kids involved in the program and got a special visit by Santa Claus tonight. Along with the presents, there will be a traditional holiday meal and crafts for the kids. Discovery House says events like this help families feel safe and celebrate.
A lot of the children who come to our shelter can't play. And that was really shocking when I first came to Discovery House, hearing that there are children who have a difficult time playing because they've grown up in an environment that is not safe. So celebrating the holidays is something that we do naturally, most of us, but it's also so important for these families to be able to have a safe place to land.
Discovery House provides housing, mental health support, and programs for about 600 people each year. And hopefully it was a lovely evening. Well, speaking of tonight, pretty frigid out there in Calgary, but this cold snap should be short-lived. At least that's according to Danielle. She has your full forecast coming up.
Ooh, there was a bite in the air today. Yes, -10 was the daytime high in the city, but that was early in the morning when everyone was pretty much sleeping. Throughout much of the day, we were closer to that -20 mark, and wind chill was closer to that -30 mark. Embrace yourselves, because tomorrow is the same idea. One more very cold day, and then temperatures will start to climb. Victoria got to a high of 12 today, Vancouver 10, so much warmer in BC, and then reasonable temperatures off to the east. Toronto got to -6, Ottawa -5, and Fredericton got 2 +1. Okay, it was a gusty day. That adds to the wind chill, of course. 57 kilometers per hour is the max gust in Pincher Creek and Medicine Hat. 50 for Lethbridge, just above 50 for Brooks, just above 40 for Drumheller, and just above 30 for Calgary. We're looking at getting even a little windier throughout the afternoon tomorrow, so you can tack on another 5 to 10 kilometers per hour. So windy, very cold. Wind chill will be an issue. Plus, we're going to add snow to this and reduce visibility. So not our best day to be outdoors. All right, there is a cold warning in place. This is mainly for Hanna and Oyen and up to the north along the Saskatchewan border. And this is because wind chill will approach that -40 mark late tonight and for tomorrow morning here. Again, this is the bullseye area for the snowfall where we're going to see the most amount. This will intensify tomorrow once again as the next wave rolls in. So south of Medicine Hat, south of Tabor is where we're looking at the heaviest amounts. 30 centimeters possible in some higher elevation areas, Cypress Hills, and other localized areas are looking at anywhere from 15 to 20 centimeters. And then the snowfall warning is still in place for Highway 93, where in total 30 centimeters is possible there as well. All right, so atmospheric river out in BC, we're getting some moisture that's making its way to our side of the Rockies. We're getting a lot is blocked by the mountains, but again, some of it's still making its way in. So for tonight, still in the far south, isolated flurries possible. As we get into tomorrow, this will start to intensify in the far south, and then by tomorrow afternoon or even late in the morning we'll start to see some flurries get into the city, and then this will intensify in the city for the afternoon hours tomorrow. So this is why we'll pick up some totals out there. All right, and then this clears out for the weekend and temperatures will switch and come out of the west, giving us a Chinook setup, and that will warm the temperatures. Much warmer than what we've got today and what we're getting tomorrow. All right, when we look at snowfall totals possible, again, that bullseye area south of Medicine Hat, south of Tabor, around 20 centimeters is what's likely. For Calgary, basically 3 to 6 centimeters, certainly what's possible. And then some localized areas could get up to 8. Cochrane 6, Okotoks 4, same as High River, and 8 in Lethbridge. So a decent snowfall in store for us tomorrow, along with gusty conditions, so reduced visibility out there on the roads and very cold conditions. -17 as our daytime high, and in the morning the wind chill will be closer to -30, -31. All right, by Saturday though, the winds will shift, come out of the west. That will bring us up to a high of -5, and the snow will let up as well early Saturday morning, and then we should get to +7 by Sunday.
Thanks, Danielle. Well, it was a big night for a large group of new soldiers in our city. A graduation parade was held at the Mawada Armory for 53 soldiers. The ceremony marked their completion of the basic military qualification course. Now, this is the first course new soldiers take after joining the Canadian Army. It was a proud moment, not just for themselves, but for their instructors, as well as their families who were in attendance tonight. Congrats to them. Well, launching a business isn't easy, especially if you're new to the country. Tonight, some local female entrepreneurs are celebrating just that, thanks to a local program for immigrants. Some Calgary newcomers are celebrating the launch of their new businesses tonight. The Immigrant Education Society, or TIES, held its winter pop-up event at Platform Calgary. The event wraps up a 9-week program for women immigrant entrepreneurs. TIES says the program helps newcomers overcome barriers like language limitations, unfamiliar business regulations, difficulty accessing funding, and limited networking.
I was lost before taking this course, but right now I feel more grounded. It was a really great opportunity for me.
We go over everything from I have an idea and I don't know how to bring it down to paper, write it down, to finances, marketing, and everything that we need to understand the system here in Calgary.
The TIES entrepreneurship program has 40 clients working to build a business in 6 different sectors. That includes food, beauty, wellness, retail, professional services, handmade products, and digital. And everything there looks beautiful, so congrats to them. What a major achievement. That is all our time this evening. Thank you so much for watching. Stay warm and have a good night.